But with that UCC, wasn't that UCC in the first place that contracted us for the driver's license, all these other contracts, whether they be healthcare or whatever they
Well,
may be?
the UCC is just for you to get back into the common law in order to be able to exercise or talk about these things that we're talking about. It's just like putting 4. If you put 4 on it, now that's obviously not you. So somebody has to be responsible for it, and more than the person who's responsible is the fiduciary, which is them, not you, because that's their license, that's their plates, that's their tags, that's their sticker, that's their office, etc.
Their number one duty is to protect the estate and the executive, and they're all fiduciary trustees. I don't care whether it's whoever it is, police officer,
I have a key up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case you have.
Oh,
I have to just either way, but I'm still gonna be here.
See, that ticket is nothing but an offer of contract. You're rejecting it by putting void, no contract, no consent.
But
Send it back.
again, can you not just not accept it? Like, you know what I mean? They're
Okay,
trying
well-
to give it to you and you don't have to hold the ticket.
You need to return it. Yeah.
You could,
But you could, if you get a letter from them with the name, you know, usually at that window, just write, return to sender on it.
yeah, but you can return to sender all you want. Eventually, especially if
No such entity is
if it has to, especially if you're trying to get it back to them within the 72 hours, right? And because for our position, right? We want to go in there. Like I want to go in there and get my status on the record that you guys are running fraud, right? I don't want to dismiss it, right? It's like that's what's been going on. And when we dismiss it, that's when they take advantage, because they're going to be under the assumption that, well, you don't want to deal with this, which means that you're in dishonor, because you should want to deal with whatever obligation, whether it's fraud, whether it's whatever. We have a right to challenge the fraud, opposed to say, well, since they're dealing with fraud, well, I'm not even going to deal with this. I'll just return this to sender, knowing that.
No, you're not just returning it to the sender, you're marking it void.
No, but
No contract.
right.
Every man and woman has the right, to unlimited right to contract or not to contract.
Right. Well,
What are they giving you a value if they want $25,000 for no insurance?
absolutely nothing.
Well,
But again,
no contract.
it comes back to the lying, and that
You
it's
can go into court, the best way to go into court is as an executive.
but you're gonna have to go in there in order to be the executor. You can't dismiss stuff. You're gonna have to go in there.
See, the thing is, when you send it back to them, what are they gonna do with it?
They're gonna take it and they're gonna send you a letter saying, okay, you sent back the thing, it was a wrong process. In order for you to fight this ticket, you're gonna have to check off the back, you're gonna have to do this, you're gonna have to call this
That's their
number and
way.
say.
I'm not obligated to.
Just answer
yeah,
your question,
you're
what they're
not,
gonna
'cause
do.
You're European. It comes back to that same
applies to
thing.
you too.
Yeah, no, it doesn't, because,
They want the money, that's what it's all
yeah,
about.
but again,
If you
Again.
think I've got some special rights,
no,
then you
no,
don't.
no, it's not
They treat
special.
everybody as a slave, not
It's
just
not.
because you're
Yeah,
black.
It's more strategy.
It's strategy.
Playing chess. I mean, if you're a pawn, you can move only when the way pawns move. If you understand, that's, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think that
Strategy.
is, I don't think that is one thing that you should indulge in. If you claim that you have rights, you have rights.
No.
Oh, yes,
No,
yes,
no.
yes,
You know
yes.
why? You know why? Because for our people, prophet came and he laid down what we're supposed to do. If we get off the path of what the prophet brought us, we're not showing any allegiance to the prophet. Asians show allegiance to Buddha. That's their prophet. Sikhs show allegiance. Hindus show allegiance. Europeans show allegiance to Jesus. But who we show allegiance to? Nobody. That's why people take advantage of us.
But I show my allegiance to
Islam.
my Creator.
The Creator sent the prophet to you.
Well.
So if the Creator sent the prophet to you, don't
why
you think you
speak
should
to
show
the prophet
allegiance?
when you can speak to the Creator
If
himself?
the Creator sent the prophet to you, don't you think you should show allegiance to the prophet?
If he sent him to you, you don't ignore anything he says. because
All right,
he sent
so
him to you.
all right,
Yeah.
so if the Creator sent you a prophet, just like He sent all other nations a prophet, Muslims have Muhammad. They'll put their head on a block for Muhammad, right? No questions asked. They're not even gonna question it. Anybody talk bad about Muhammad? Or you're a blasphemer. They're gonna defend Muhammad to the death because that's their prophet. Christians are going to defend Jesus to the death. Jews are going to defend Moses to the death. Negro, black, and colored people have abandoned their prophet and what he brought them. This is why we can't just see something and, oh well, it worked for that guy, so let's just do that. No, because if you're not going to follow what the Creator sent you through your prophet, then anything else you do is, you might as well not do nothing. You might as well stay in that nigger state.
Well, listen, you said one thing here, one race on this planet.
Yeah, but every race on this planet, every nation on this planet has a prophet that was sent to them.
Yeah, but
Disobedience.
All from one source.
let's
It's
get
all
off
from
the,
one source,
let's
but-
get off the prophet thing here.
But why does every nation, right? Why does every nation on the planet, every single nation, have a prophet? Why? Like, why does every nation has a prophet? That's undeniable fact. That every single nation on the planet has a prophet that was sent to that specific nation in order to save that nation from the wrath of the higher force. Every nation has a prophet. The wrath of the higher
I
force.
think,
And the path goes to God.
Right?
Your Father loves you. He doesn't have wrath against you.
He doesn't have he doesn't have wrath against
No.
us.
He sends a
It's
prophets
like
in
an
our path.
earthquake or a tornado.
Why do you think earthquakes happen? Just because they just happen? Just because
Somebody said bomb right now.
right? Harp is nothing compared to Mother Nature. Who's harp? Harp ain't nothing.
Man-made destruction.
I'm not gonna give harp more power than Mother Nature. I'm asking for an earthquake to come at me. If I'm
Straight,
gonna
more
give
tornadoes
harp more
on
power
them.
than Mother Nature.
It's always going to be spiritual before
But it's the same
synthetic.
thing like you saying, if you're giving the prophet more credence than you're giving the Creator.
The Creator
No.
sent the
It's not
prophet.
about giving
Listen.
more. It's about
The Creator
recognizing,
sent the
period,
prophet.
right?
I'm not giving the prophet more power than the Creator. I'm recognizing that, okay, well, if
But the Creator chooses a man, which is a prophet, to prophetically say something unto a nation of people to warn them. So I'm kind of confused as to why there's this religion debate going on. We should be honoring our prophets. If you don't, then ashay. Please, can we just forward and let the Grand Sheik finish off this lecture?
Can we get on?
I mean, we're there.
It's long, but it's a good point. In the
What is
sense
what
that
is the point? Because again, people are gonna say, oh yeah, well, this guy has information. This guy has information. This lady has information. I've been on this website. I got this thing. This guy has this. But then the prophet brought you everything that those same people are bringing you. It's just from a higher perspective. Well, people don't want to consider that. They want to consider, well, what's the best paperwork to use? Well, should I get a license or shouldn't I get a license? How do I write on it? What's the best UCC to use? Should we sue police officers? If his hat's crooked, does that mean that he can't exercise what he's supposed to exercise? Oh, that's irrelevant,
I just want to say one thing.
right?
I've studied all this thing for years, and I thought that I knew a thing or two, that I just found out that I did nothing. The more you know, so you
The more you know, the
always
less
have-
you know.
Yeah, you always have to be
Right.
stressing to find out what is behind what you do.
All right, so if I mention the name Noble Joe Ali to you, and you never heard that name before ever in
No,
your life,
No.
all right, so
what did
maybe
you
you should
study?
try to consider that. If
Well,
that's
I
something
am.
that
I am.
if that's something that you don't know.
That's why I'm critiquing it, because I tell you, You don't wanna just upset something because you're here at the first
Hey,
roll out.
hey, from the beginning,
Definitely.
from the beginning. Don't take anything that was presented today as fact until you go check it out yourself.
Exactly.
I don't care who says it.
My point.
So one day I was occupying my conveyance, coming home, traveling on the roadways, and it's an island. So I was coming into the complex. There's an island. So I'm traveling this way. Peace officer is traveling this way. So now we're parallel to each other. So there's no way he only could see me or the side of the car. So he decides he wants to come back around and see what's going on. I had a temporary sticker on the car at the time, which was expired. So he probably punched it up, followed me to my underground. I said I wasn't gonna stop until, like, he chaired me from before, but I kept traveling until I opened the key, went in the underground, parked the conveyance, and then started to engage with him. Tried to get out of the conveyance. The first time he wouldn't let me out. Started to talk to me, and I told them that I was Moorish American. I gave them my name, my indigenous name, proclaimed my nationality. For about 5-10 minutes, we were at a standstill. And then after that, we weren't going anywhere, and I had a friend with me. He knows about the info, but he's not really into it. He's like, come on, man, just tell him your corporate name, whatnot, let's just get out of here. I'm like, no, it's not gonna be like that. So eventually I realized that we're just gonna be here because they couldn't go further. And I just learned something. It's something called threshold. There's a term called threshold. I haven't really studied yet, but that's a term you should get to know, because once you cross that threshold, you become in their jurisdiction, and then they could, they have authority over you. So eventually we couldn't go anywhere. So I said, okay, my corporate name is so. I didn't have their license on me either, because I don't usually travel with it. And there's nothing wrong with that license. It's not suspended. I didn't have any tickets on it at the time. I could have used it every day if I wanted to, but that's not my status. So I gave them the corporate name under threat, duress, and coercion. Told them if I have to assume this position of this person or this entity, then I'm doing it under threat, duress, and coercion. So I did that. They issued me a ticket for not having a driver's license, operating a vehicle without a valid permit, and I had an insurance still slip on me, but it was I think it was expired at the time. But that's irrelevant. If I'm not part of your jurisdiction, then I'm not required to have any of those things anyway. So that happened. That was done. They gave me the tickets. A month later, or I think I actually went to court, or went to the courthouse at Markham, filed an application to take it to trial. I put my indigenous name as the agent or as the representative for that thing, and I signed all rights reserved overlapping my Moorish name. The clerk told me I couldn't do that. Then I said that's how I signed my signature, and I gave it to her. And that was that. A month later, the exact same thing happened in the underground. With the same exact charges, but this time the peace officer decided that he wasn't going to take the insurance slip for what it was, and then he checked, and eventually, like a month after, he brought me 2 slips for no insurance. One on the day that he drew me down, and the other one was for a fabricated day that didn't even exist. So went to that one did the same thing, reserved my rights. I'm just waiting in the mail for a trial date, and this was probably February-ish, and this is what now, we're in October, right? So a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, got some letters in the mail saying that the corporation, Jason McCletchy, whatever Vendome, like Franchi explained to you with all caps, and her name was in proper person. It says the charges noted above has been withdrawn, the case is now complete, there's no conviction, no fine payable, and no other consequences that will result from a conviction further. No further action is required on your part. If you have any questions.